Oh,
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, stronger than ever, not divided. We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, hear the call, you are invited. We come from the same source, a powerful love force.
good evening, everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Thomas. Welcome to the Awakening World, our bi-weekly show put on by the Global Peace Tribe. And we're doing something new tonight. We've been doing variations of this show for over 6 years now. And but for the very first time tonight, we are starting a new series. We will periodically do if it's as successful as we certainly hope it will be. Couples that we love. And as a relationship coach, I make my living coaching couples. I do appreciate couples that come together and use the tools to have a healthy relationship and that are committed to creating a better world, an awakening world. And so tonight we're going to meet two such couples. And all of them have been on the show before, but we're going to hear from them as couples tonight. And first off are Magic and Melanie. And they are coming to us from Maui. And they do beautiful, beautiful work. And both of them individually are awesome. She is an incredible astrologer. She gave me the best reading. And Magic is someone I've known for years. I've worked with him, did a retreat with him in Mount Shasta. And then seeing them come together, both as man and wife, they are now married, and also as a couple doing great work is really exciting. And our other couple that we love are Darren and Karina. I've known Karina a long time. And so it's so wonderful to see her with Darren. Darren first came into my world through Soul Search. Karina, I've known, and then they got together as a couple as well. So we're going to learn about both of these couples' histories with each other. Magic and Melanie. Whoop, whoop. Um, that was love you guys. Magic and Maggie are going to do a special journey type of experience for us, which is going to help us to get a taste of what they provide in their retreats. So we've got a fun show planned. And of course, we're going to have prayer time with Diara, and if she shows up with Desiree. But as always, we're going to start the show with our beloved house musical artist, our wonderful Omashar, providing the first of three opportunities for us to move and groove.
Or yes, indeed. So welcome everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube, and this is a very timely show tonight. I need a dose of love, and I need some reflection from outside of me of love in action. And so this first song is actually called "We Feel Love," and it's more of a waltz. So if you find yourself waltzing with yourself or a teapot or another person in your room, that'd be great. But it'll help us open this sacred circle and deepen us into the subject of tonight. Tonight. And here we go. You may sway. Lost in a sea of illusion, feeling so alone. Lost on a wave of confusion, where do we turn? Flow with the tide of completion. Know the reason why. Drink in the waters of healing and be healed. We're coming home to the part of us that's waking up, and we know deep inside of us we've got a friend. Desire in our hearts, and we feel love, and we feel love. George. Dive into the depths of your being. Know that all is well. And dive into the deepest ocean and see the truth. Off the cover of darkness, free yourself from fear.
show that you're ready and willing to make the change. We're coming home to the part of us that's waking up. And we know deep inside of us we've got a friend. We remember the design of our lives. We remember the desire in our hearts, and we feel love, and we feel
Mm. That is such a beautiful song. Let's send twinkles and love and hearts and good things to our beloved Omar Shar.
Just before we move on, I went before the show to buy some food to break my fast for tomorrow. And I went to the potato counter, and what should I find?
Oh, that's amazing.
And this is like half an hour before the show. I found that I love potato.
Well, we're going to have to change the title of the show to Potatoes That We Love.
Potatoes that we love. So anyway, I thought that it was rather amusing, and basically, you know, everything is in synchronicity. The whole universe is watching everything, and so I take that as a sign. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you. I love that. And I love our audience. So before we go to Magic and Maggie, I want to read some of the comments. Again, the question was couples that you love and or admire. And several of our people, including Dia Therese and the Wild Monk, talked about Shri and Kira down in South America, in Ecuador. And of course, Shri is no longer with us, but they were prominently mentioned. Pato and Antoinette were mentioned by several people, of course. And I love something that, oh, and Trina Joy brings up Gay and Katie Hendricks. They're wonderful. I've had the good fortune to get to know them. They've been on the show back when we were Saturday Night Live at the Global Peace Tribe. They were on the show. And they are a beautiful couple, 40 years together. Susan Woolridge, Pato and Antoinette, Mandy Patinkin, and Catherine Grody. And then our beloved Eleanor Joy, she had a unique example, including a visual image to go along with it. So what Eleanor Joy wrote was, this couple that I saw on our walk this morning thrilled me and the others deeply. Mama dear, instructing the very newly born fawn to retreat back into the tall grasses while she surveyed the scene. Myself and another walker halted, as did a couple of families behind us with their very young children. When Mama Deer decided that the area was safe, she signaled to her baby to come on across the path and into the woods on the other side. So that is certainly a unique but wonderful couple that we love. Thank you, Eleanor Joy, for that. We also have love for Connie and Andrew and Lynn and Leaf. Carol Craig pointing them out. So Lynn and Leaf, who are right here with us, And Lynn Leaf, they chose themselves, which is very good. That's very, very good. Um, so, um, and yeah, Susan also says Connie and Andrew. Oh, and Tiara, me, and Jasmine Bear, even though she just was barking. So thank you. She's definitely a wonderful partner. But now we're going to get to a human couple, and I am going to bring up my friends, Magic and Maggie. And, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to getting astrology readings. I've been in this field for a long, long time. Way back in the mid 90s, I was hiring astrologers and psychics for the shows that I was working on, the TV shows. So I'm a snob. I don't even really get readings from that many people. But there are two people that are extraordinary astrologers, Raquel Spring, who's been on the show before, and Maggie. And my astrology reading with Maggie recently was so on target. I've listened to it twice. So I strongly encourage if anybody wants to have a very loving reading that's inspiring and informational and just filled with love, Maggie is your gal. Um, and Magic is someone I've known for many, many years. And I did a retreat with him in Mount Shasta. And what I remember the most about that was he helped me to have a deeper understanding of my connection to nature. I remember there was a unique little insect that landed on me, and Magic just turned it into a whole shamanic journey of my relationship with this little unique insect. So he's also a beautiful man. So of course they've come together as a couple, and together they lead sacred voyages and retreats. And we'll learn a little bit more about that a little bit down the line. But I've done enough talking. I want to turn it over to the two of you. Welcome back to the Awakening World. You've both been on individually, but it's beautiful to have you on together as a couple today and initiating our Couples That We Love series.
Thank you, Scott. So good to be here. Yeah. In fact, you mentioned Gay and Katie Hendricks. Is that their names? Gay and
Yes,
Katie,
yes,
right?
yeah.
As
They
one of
both
the
were
couples.
conscious loving.
I think the first Awakening World I went on that I was on and they were on as well at the same time.
Oh, right. Okay.
Beautiful couple. So today, Maggie and I wanted to talk to the audience, to you, to everyone about oneness. Oneness is a really interesting word and an interesting experience that I notice is around in spiritual circles these days. People talk about oneness and wanting to experience it, and some people have experienced it. And really, oneness is how Maggie and I came together. It's actually how we became a couple in many ways. I think that during this talk, we're going to present how that happens through oneness and the power of oneness, both on the level of how to resolve anything in your psychology or in your emotional or mental fields that might be holding someone back from being fully themselves and actualizing what they came here on the planet to actualize. But also, and I call that the horizontal level, the human level, but also on the vertical level in terms of connecting with God and spirit, which is how we often think about oneness. There's two different sort of aspects of oneness, interestingly, like this sort of infinite thing that seemingly is not dividable because it's one, can be divided and thought about as different parts, as the vertical and the horizontal. It's a paradox. My early experience with oneness when I was in my 20s, I was in a meditation school, and it was an esoteric school where we did a lot of running light through the body and sacred geometry, and we were attempting to connect with God in very, very deep levels. And I had these incredible experiences in which I felt that I was just light and God, and I felt like I was one with God. And the truth is, I was on a certain level. But another truth is that what I was actually experiencing in those moments could be looked at as halfness, not oneness. Because what I was one with was all the positive aspects of light and God, the good feelings, the bliss and the joy and all of that. And to me, that was oneness, and it was fantastic. But if you had asked me if I included my sadness or my fears or my doubts or things that weren't working in my life in that, I would not have included that. But that's what oneness actually is. It's the inclusion of all that is. It's actually being one with everything. And what we've learned is that it's not something, a lot of people think of it as, oh, I need to, or I'd like to be one with things outside of myself, with other people, with the world, so that we can all be at peace. And yes, we all want that, but actually the doorway to that is inside. The doorway to that is to become one with yourself, to become one with every part of you. The parts that you love, the parts that you like, the parts that you don't like, maybe the parts that you hate. This is how we integrate and we become whole within ourselves, is by loving and being with each and every part of us. And so tonight, we don't want to just talk about this, because it's easy to talk about these things on an intellectual level, and a lot of us can get it and resonate with it and want it at that level. But what Maggie and I are about, and on our retreats and in our work together, is how do you actually put this into practice in a real, visceral, tangible way? And so we want to take the audience through a meditation at the end tonight of our time, in which we can all have our own experience of what we're talking about when we become one with ourselves. Because when we become one with ourselves, then that's the pathway to actually experience oneness with all that is, because we actually are all that is. We are everything. There's no separation between me and you and anyone else. All of the separation that I experience is illusory at one level, and also it comes at the level of me being in the mind, which separates everything into different parts. When I start to go into oneness with myself, that dissolves. And I start moving into this multidimensional place of the infinite and all that is. So I'm going to talk a little more about that, about the horizontal and the vertical, share a little bit of some stories about it so it can come to life. And then we're going to take you through a meditation. But before I do that, Maggie's going to talk a little bit about the astrology right now and how it's ripe with the opportunities for oneness and is oneness.
Yeah, it's really inspiring. It's such an incredibly inspiring time. And what I hope to do is to transmit inspiration about the infinite loving universe supporting us coming into more oneness in these years. Like we've moved into a certain cycles that are helping us call back the fragmented pieces of our soul and the parts of ourselves that live in shadow, the parts of ourselves that live in unconsciousness, that have us acting, behaving, believing, thinking outside of the alignment of the love that we are. And the universe is so loving and so just absolutely supportive, especially in these moments of bringing us what we need to move into more wholeness and oneness in ourselves. And when we reach more wholeness or oneness in ourselves, we reach more wholeness and oneness together in our relationships, our personal relationships, our friendships, our community relationships, and collectively as a whole. We're going through a massive collective evolution of consciousness right now. And I'm sure all of you can feel that and are experiencing that. And you know, you're here at the Awakening World, and you're very much the pioneer consciousness of this world. And I could go further back than the last couple years as far as how the energy has been supporting us, but I only have about 10 minutes to share with you guys, so I'm going to try to rein myself in as astrologically. And really, one of the markers in time was 2018 when Chiron went into Aries. And Chiron going into Aries, it's still in Aries and it will be in Aries until actually next week when it moves out for the first time in the last 8 years. But Chiron in Aries has been helping us to heal the wound of self, heal the separation that we feel from ourselves and the separation that we feel from divinity. And the major marking point of this Chiron and Aries transit was April 8th of 2024, when we had the solar eclipse in Aries that was exactly to the minute conjunct Chiron. And that was this marker of time, of this deep healing, of that perceived separation that we feel when we come into a body. Because when we incarnate into a human body, all of a sudden there's this perceived separation from everything. We are now in this human body and we're separate from God, we're separate from all that is, from each other. And that's a perceived separation, right? It's so paradoxical to talk about our divinity and our humanity, because we're both. We're both very human and very solid here in this material plane. And we're also one with all that is at the same time. And what is happening right now energetically is that we're learning how to fully be both, how to fully embody our divinity and our humanity at once. Love, honor, and respect all aspects of ourselves. It's not about leaving the body or the human experience any longer. It's about bringing that divinity into the egoic experience. And what I like to call divinitizing our ego, right? It's not about losing our ego. It's about aligning our ego with our higher self and our source, our soul, what our soul really came here to do. So that eclipse back in 2024 was a major marking point. And then we built up to this year. In February of this year, we had the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries. We have not had anything like that in over 6,000 years. So that was an incredible marker of time. And what that was the consciousness of as above, so below. That is, Saturn is the planet of our soul's higher responsibility, and Neptune is our source consciousness. And at 0 degrees of Aries, that's the beginning of everything. That's 0 point energy. So we've moved into this cycle where we're asked by spirit, by source, by the universe, to really bring our divinity into our human experience. And then we had all of these outer planets move signs, and they're all in supportive angles to one another. So these have been major, the type of energy that we're feeling is energy that we haven't felt as a human species in known history. I can't go back past 10,000 years, but in known history, we haven't seen anything like what we're experiencing right now. And this brings me to May. In May, we had Uranus conjunct the asteroid Sedna. Sedna has a 11,000-year orbit. So this is massively powerful. Sedna hasn't been where it is right now in 11,000 years. And Sedna represents this kind of fragmentation of the soul that happens. So I don't want to go through the whole mythology. I don't want to spend the time to tell you the whole mythology of Sedna. But when Sedna, her fingers were chopped off and she descended to the bottom of the ocean, and her fingers became the sea animals. They became the whales and the orcas and the basically the food, the manna for the people. And then she descended to the bottom of the ocean, and she became the goddess of the sea, of the Arctic Ocean. And the myth is a little complicated, and it's told a little bit differently depending on how you look it up. But really, her energy is about reclaiming our power from victimization, from where we see ourselves as a victim to life, and actually claiming our power back from that, and actually being the conscious creator of that. All of the energies, Uranus is the great awakener. So Uranus conjuncted Sedna and woke us up to this aspect of self, this aspect of deep unconscious separation and fragmentation that happens just from being human. Like, we all have our human stories of trauma, and our souls have deep stories of trauma throughout every single lifetime. And that is the human experience. Loss is a part of the human experience. And how do we claim our power back from that and realize that everything that has ever happened has been for us? So Uranus and Sedna in the early degrees of Gemini, conjuncting there for the first time in over 11,000 years, are having us wake up to the empowerment of rewriting and reframing the story and claiming our power as the conscious creator of our experience here and taking our power back from it. We were moving into, and now we have the Isis Osiris conjunction, which is going to happen next month in the middle of July. And Isis and Osiris are also a story of soul fragmentation. Osiris is the soul that has been fragmented, and Isis is the energy that comes back and brings it back together. And as they come into union, the consciousness allows us to come back into more union with self. So we have all of the outer planets moving into this beautiful alignment with one another, while these asteroids and planets are interacting, helping us to wake up and take our power back from the stories that kept us in separation of self, that kept us in stories of victimization. And we're asked to rewrite those stories. We're asked to be with the parts of ourselves that we felt separate from, to love them, to hold them into our hearts, and to actually reframe and shift the consciousness higher. One of the most impactful aspects that's happening is in mid-July, we have what's called a cradle aspect, and all of the outer planets. So we have Uranus in Gemini, we have Pluto in Aquarius, we have Neptune in Aries, and then Jupiter will move into Leo, and they're all going to be at 4 degrees in this really supportive aspect. And this has been talked about by mundane astrologers since the 1960s and 1950s as a rapid time of evolutionary growth, optimism for the individual and the collective, and an ability, 4 is the degree of frequency or vibration, an ability to move into frequencies of unconditional love and a greater unity consciousness individually and collectively. So there's all this energy, and I could go on for hours, but I'm not going to. There's all this energy that's supporting us in coming into our hearts, into the love that we are, and shifting our frequency for our story, for our hearts, being inspired by what we're here to do, and having the courage to follow our hearts and be the love that we are. And the love that that brings to the collective is absolutely unfathomably powerful, especially at this time. This time is just, it's so supported. So I'm so grateful that we're all here together and that we're on this journey of oneness together, because it's time. It's really, really time.
Wow.
Thank
I mean, I
you.
just want to say, it is so amazing, and thank you for giving us that insight that it's been so long since we've had this kind of an astrological configuration. And DR, I'm going to read a couple comments. Susan writes that June 19th, Chiron enters Taurus, fixed Earth, deep healing, inner security, and self-worth. Is that?
Yeah,
Let's see
yeah.
you.
It's going to dip its toe in Taurus, and then it'll go back to Aries and finish up. And next spring, it'll be in Taurus for the next approximately 7 years.
Wow. DR writes, I've been in tears from love. I see and hear hearts melting open wide. And Susan says, thank you. You're helping me to reframe my story. So beautiful.
Thank you. So that was beautiful. Thank you for that. I want to now shift gears slightly, and I want to take this discussion of oneness into a more practical, human, what are we trying to create in our lives place? Because most of us on a human level are wanting similar things. We want to be healthy. We want to be happy. We want our life to be easier. We want relationship. We want to have whatever level of financial abundance and prosperity that we've set for ourselves to be where we want to be. And these things are not separate from the conversation of oneness. In fact, oneness fits perfectly into this conversation because I've been leading retreats and teaching classes and working with people one-on-one for almost 30 years and sitting with masters and shamans and kahuna. And the thing that I've noticed in working with thousands of people during this time is that there's this thing that happens when we experience loss, when we experience hurt, when someone hurts us, especially when we're children, when someone makes fun of us on the playground, or we are, unrequited love, or we get our hearts broken, or someone dies, or we have a challenging childhood. We have parents that are challenging or drug addicted. We have trauma. All of us have these hurts, these wounds in our humanity, and they affect us. And there's two primary ways that I notice they affect us. And I'm going to use relationship as the example. So when someone has their heart broken in a relationship, what happens is that what our system, if it metabolizes it properly, it feels it. It is actually one with it, like we are ourselves. So we fully feel and experience what happened to us. And that metabolizes the experience, and we learn and grow from it. We gain wisdom, and we empty out the hurt through tears and through processing and laughter or whatever's present. And then we're clear from it, and we're empty from it, and it doesn't scar or wound us or hurt us in the future. But for most of us, no one taught us how to do that. So we didn't do that. So we used coping mechanisms to avoid the pain and push it away. What happens when we do that is there's two really primary parts that are kind of opposite each other that get activated. One is the part that pushes away any experience in the future that could be similar, right? It's like my heart got broke and I didn't want to feel that, so I didn't feel it. And now a part of our psyche that's unconscious is going to push away people and experiences and situations that could touch us into it again. At the same time, there's another part of us that's our evolutionary part, the part that's wanting us to wake up to our full nature, to who we really are, and to heal and grow and evolve. And it's actually attracting into us experiences that will touch the hurt again. That's why sometimes people attract the same partner in a different body over and over and over again, the same situations, the same circumstances. It's a part of them that wants them to heal what they haven't healed. So how do we resolve this? How do we heal this? It's actually through oneness. It's through being with the loss in a very intimate way, loving loss. I call it grieving, but my definition is different than the traditional one. It's unconditionally loving loss, unconditionally loving hurt. When we love our loss, it can metabolize. When we become one with it, it can inform us and it can move. It becomes stuck when we're not one with it. So that's how we move through things. I had a client that came on Maui for a 4-day private retreat with me where we went out to sacred power places during the retreat. There are power spots all over this island. Some of them are for birthing, and it's like this concentrated energy of birthing, so you can manifest something like that there. There are some that are about death. In that spot, you could actually release or heal something you've never been able to instantly. There's all kinds of sites here. And they're in Mount Shasta as well, similar sites. This person came here and he went to his hotel to check in, and the hotel had gone bankrupt and he didn't know it. And they were closed and they were giving no refunds. He went to an ATM machine and he pulled the money out, and he, I think, left his ATM card on the machine, and someone came along and stole money from him. And then he lost the money he took out. That's right before he showed up to work with me. So on the retreat, I said, I have a feeling that this isn't about what's going on right now. Let's dive into what's present for you. And I took him through something that I call the oneness method, where we become one with what's happening inside of us. And when we did that, he realized that both of his ex-wives he had been divorced, and he had felt like he had lost almost all of his money in those divorces, and he had bitterness, real bitterness in his heart about it. And I reflected to him that it's possible that that unresolved loss is actually drawing these money challenges to you because you have hurt about money. And he realized that what happened that day had been happening in his life since that time. Money had been flying out the window, all these unexpected losses with money. We went in and did some of this oneness work with it, where he became one with the hurt of the past. And therefore it shifted and emptied and metabolized in him. And the money issues went away. No more money problems in his life. Abundance and prosperity. There was another man that I worked with who came to me as another retreat, and he was talking to me about how all the women that he was attracting in his life were unavailable. They were either married, or they were long distance, or they were closed off emotionally. And this pattern just kept continuing over and over and over again. And so I presented the same thing to him. Let's explore. The man that I just spoke about with the money was attracting money situations into his life. It's that part where I talked about where our psyche wants us to evolve. It wants us to heal. So it attracts something similar to touch us into that part we haven't resolved. But with this person, with the divorces and the unavailable women, his psyche was repelling anything that could touch him into that hurt again. So it was only attracting unavailable people so he wouldn't have to be vulnerable and expose himself to potential pain again. But when I guided him into the oneness method and to actually touching into his unresolved hurt and pain and just welcoming it, to love himself deeply and fully, even this part of himself that was hurting, and to just allow that part to hurt, allow it to cry if it needed to just hold it and be with it. Something profound happened, and it shifted, and it healed, and it emptied, and it stopped causing him to attract unavailable women, and he was able to attract his partner. Now, this is how, on the horizontal, the human level, oneness is a real practical exercise and experience that can change your life. And this is how Maggie came into my life. Because back in late 2021, before I met Maggie, I was hurting. I was 50-ish years old, without trying to do the math right now, 52 or something like that. And I had not found the love of my life yet. I'd have some really wonderful relationships, but none of them were my partner, my beloved, my person. And I'd had a lot of heartache. I was living on Maui, but couldn't find a place to live. I tried to buy a home. It fell through. This experience I'm telling you about happened on the anniversary of my cat's death. That was if there was a soulmate for me up until that point, it was my cat. And it was the anniversary of her death. And I was just feeling so much hurt and pain. And I decided to put this practice into place. So I went into a deep meditation, and I just started loving the pain, loving the hurt, loving that I had not found my person, and that I was alone. And as I did that, as I went into myself, and I'm going to take you through this later so you understand exactly what I'm talking about, things started arising. I started realizing that I had this critical part of me that was telling me that something was wrong with me, telling me that I wasn't good enough, that was in my unconscious, that had been adapted from my childhood, from my parents. Both of them had very critical parts of them. They were very neurotic and worried a lot and had challenging self-esteems. And I had lived in that and had adapted that. And it took me into it. And I started to love that instead of pushing it away, which is separation, right? We can live in separation, which is pushing parts of ourself away, parts we don't like, things we don't like. Oh, I want more pleasure. I don't want pain. And when we do that, we're constantly manipulating our lives. And we have an agenda that's operating to feel good and to push away experience, which takes us out of reality. It takes us out of the moment. And it certainly takes us further and further away from oneness with us, which I will eventually share is oneness with divinity and oneness with God and oneness with all that is. And so as I sat that day, I went through a number of processes inside myself where different things from my history would arise, different hurts, different periods of time. And I just kept sitting with one after the other, until eventually they just emptied. And what was left was this peace, this profound peace and emptiness of me being one with myself. I felt so alive. I felt so here and empowered and connected with divinity and God and all that is, because that's right in here. This is the doorway. We lead sacred site retreats where we go out in nature to sacred sites. And on that retreat, I often say, that you are the sacred site. You are what you've been looking for. You are everything. There isn't anything that you aren't. You're infinite, and you always have been, and you always will be. You can't die because you were never born. And at the same time, things do matter in this human world, right? In that divine place, everything's temporary. So who cares? Like, I don't care if someone dies or I get hurt because I'm infinite. But it does matter here on earth where we've come into human form. And if people die and things hurt and I don't have my partner, it matters. And so it took me into that beautiful place of true oneness, which oneness to me ultimately is the place where I can actually be experiencing my divinity. And in that place where I know that nothing matters, and I'm also feeling the pain or the joy of the moment of now, because it does matter, all at the same time. The culmination of my journey around this, or I guess there's no culmination, it's still happening, but a pivotal moment around it. I had an injury to my ear where a firecracker exploded next to my ear. And at one point, I couldn't, what it did to me is it caused me to have an extreme sensitivity to sound. So sound became intolerable for me. At one point, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go to the beach because of the sound of the waves. I couldn't go to a waterfall because of the sound of the water. I couldn't go to a restaurant. I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't watch TV. I was basically, the only place I felt safe and wasn't in pain was at home. Otherwise, I was in fight or flight and in a lot of pain. And I had this experience where I went to on a sacred site journey for a week. And when I came out of the journey, the whole time I was in that journey, Spirit was teaching me about oneness. Everything that happened, I was being taught to surrender and just merge with whatever was occurring and to stop resisting it. And by the way, that doesn't mean that you're going to become a doormat or that you're not going to make powerful decisions. It means you're going to make even better decisions. You're going to have more authentic yeses or nos. You're going to stand in truth more, because oneness with yourself and all that is brings truth and wisdom and divine right action. And so I've been being taught surrender and oneness. And I came out of that experience, and I didn't do any drugs at this time. I haven't done a drug in many, many years. And I got inadvertently drugged. And I had to get on a plane. And it was very psychotropic. And I already had, 100 times experience of what's louder for me than everyone else. And that was 100 times more than that. And I got onto this plane, and I was at a level 10 pain and a level 10 fear. But because I'd spent that week in this powerful site experiencing oneness and surrender, I was completely at one with the fear, and I was completely at one with the pain. And as such, I was completely at peace. I was completely at peace, even though I was at level 10 pain and level 10 fear. That is where the horizontal and vertical meet. It's where the cross meets, that pinpoint place where one is in their infinite nature and knows that none of this matters. And really not just intellectually, but embodied in the nervous system, in our emotional body. And at the same time, it did matter. I was in pain. I was in fear. I wasn't pushing it down. I wasn't denying it. It was there. And it was interesting because occasionally I wasn't identified with any thoughts, even though thoughts would occasionally float by, because I was in that pinpoint place. But I remember a thought floated by once, like it was a thought of terror at what was happening. And I could feel if I had like contracted on that thought and stepped out of the part of this place that was divinity and more into that place, I would have freaked out. They might have had to take me off that plane in a straitjacket because it was that intense, the experience. But I stayed right there. And that experience changed me permanently. Not that I'm in that all the time now. I'm not. It's a work in progress all the time. But it created, it was like, I've experienced this now. So I can use that, right? It's like the ability to access it more and more and more and build on. So that was an incredible experience. And that's where these two places meet. Now, there's the vertical, which sometimes when I meditate, I sit down and I don't, the oneness method is about closing your eyes in practice, doing that with your eyes open all the time eventually, and just becoming one with whatever's there. Like what's inside of you in this moment of now? And are you willing to merge with that, to become one with that, to stop distancing yourself and being divided from aspects of yourself that you think would be disempowering? You know, almost everybody I've ever met that's depressed did not get depressed because they surrendered to their sadness and felt it fully. In fact, I don't know if I've ever met anybody that's depressed who does that. The people that I've met that are depressed are the people who are afraid of their sadness. Understandably, they're afraid they'll get stuck there. They're afraid that it'll take them down. And so they don't feel it fully. And so it doesn't metabolize and heal and release whatever the sadness is about. So it stays in the body. And then the next thing that happens that is a loss doesn't get metabolized and it stays in the body and it builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up until it becomes unbearable and overwhelming. And we call that depression. Now, some of that is because we're not really taught how to love the sadness. And so a lot of people I work with say, well, I've cried and I've felt my pain and it hasn't changed things. And it's because there's different types of crying and there's different types of experiencing our sadness, our pain, our discomfort. And that is the difference between unconditionally loving something because it is, and I just want to be one with myself, and crying because I know that I need to feel this, but really what I'm crying is I don't want to feel this. I'm crying because it sucks and I don't want it and I want to get rid of it. And that's separation. And so that second kind is like a pressure cooker, right? And if you release the pressure cooker, it releases and you feel better, but you didn't stop the pressure cooker from cooking more pressure, right? But when you unconditionally love what is, then it actually releases the thing that's causing it. Now, sometimes it goes through some layers to get to that place, but it can release the thing that is causing it, which is really what we're trying to do here. And there are profound effects from this. I had a couple that came on a retreat with me, and I didn't know why they were on retreat. They didn't tell me. At times in the past, I didn't ask. And so we were at a sacred site, and I was talking to them, and I started telling stories, just like I'm telling stories to you guys. I trained with a number of shaman and kahuna who the way that they work with people is through storytelling. They transmit frequency through storytelling to evoke change and transformation. So I was telling stories to these folks, and I told a couple, I'm just remembering, I told a couple of stories about abortion. And this woman started crying. And that's kind of how it works for me. I'm channeling, what to share. And so she starts crying. And I asked her what's present. And she said, the reason they're on this retreat is because they're trying to have a baby. And they've tried everything and they can't. And they've been spending, I forgot it was $50,000, $70,000 on in vitro fertilization, and it wasn't working. And she was also crying because as I told these stories about abortion, she realized that she had had an abortion and that she was incredibly shameful about it and full of guilt and felt like it was wrong and was hysterical about it, actually. She was really upset. And what I realized in that moment is that unresolved loss creates more loss. So she's got this loss from the abortion she had that she hasn't healed, and it's stopping her from having a baby. And so we worked for those 2 days in healing the shame and forgiving herself. And through that process, she got to be one with what is. She was one with it, and it healed. And they went back to where they were from and got pregnant and had a baby, right? So I don't want to talk too much more about it because I want to take some time to take you guys through a meditation. And so I'm going to turn it over to Maggie. No?
Yeah.
What? We have what?
You take them right in.
Oh, I take them right in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Okay. Well, we were going to have Maggie start taking you in, but I'm going to take you guys into a meditation now. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. And if this talk has evoked anything for you, if there's anything that you're aware of that's in your system, in your psyche, that you have not welcomed, that you have not loved, that you have not been willing to be with, just allow that to be present here right now. Allow that to come forward. And if something like that hasn't occurred, or if you'd like to do this differently, just present something that you would like in your life, something that you're intending, something that you're wanting, something that hasn't actualized yet in your life that you're trying to create. And just intend that right now. Because when you intend that, it's likely that what's in the way of that might arise. And I want you to drop into your body and just start scanning your body for whatever sensations are present in your body right now. When I say sensations, I mean, we can have emotions that are present and we label them as happiness or laughter or sadness or pain or fear, but they're actually sensations. They live somewhere, like they're in the heart or they're in the belly, or you feel them in your legs or on your skin. Like there are ways that you can feel these things when you drop into your body. So drop into your body and just notice what's present. And it might also be energetic. So we have energy in our body, and you might feel some energy there. Maybe you even feel something physically. And just whatever's there. It doesn't matter what it's there. If you have an intention present, if something came up before or not, just drop into a deep level of presence with what is there. And I'm going to ask you some questions that I want you to answer inside your own mind while you put all your attention on whatever sensations you're finding in your body right now. So the first question is, where in your body do you feel the strongest sensations? Either emotionally, energetically, physically. If you're thinking, try to come out of thought and into the body. And if it's difficult for you, you can use your breath to breathe right into the place where you feel those sensations. And then just stay there after you take the in-breath in and relax with the out-breath, with your attention magnetizing fully on the sensations that are there. And notice the shape of those intentions, if they have a shape. I mean, the shape of those sensations, if they have a shape. And notice if they have a weight. Is there a weight to these sensations? Heavy, light? Do they have a temperature? Are they moving or are they still? Is there a texture? A vibration or a pulsation? Oftentimes, the sensations that we track in our body when we're doing transformational work or we're presencing something we're trying to create, or old hurt or wounds, are what I call a wound field or a trauma field, and they carry all the memories of everything we've ever experienced. And the way to become one with them is simply putting your attention fully on them, like a mantra, only it's not a sound that you're focusing on, it's a body sensation. The way to become one with them is simply putting a somatic mantra. So you're putting all your attention on these sensations. That is.
I was thinking, does he not know what I'm saying?
That is your loving presence. You're putting your loving presence on the sensations. And just being with them, just allowing them, giving them permission to be there, not trying to change them. And just spend a couple of minutes there. Just trying to put as much of your attention on them as you can. If this is easy for you, I'm not going to take us into this right now because we don't have time, but in the next couple of minutes, you can actually love them or even accept them or become one with them. But just allowing them to be there and putting your presence on them, putting your loving presence on them is enough to metabolize and shift and heal and move you more and closer towards oneness with yourself. What happens if you unconditionally love whatever's present? And slowly now, staying connected to those sensations as best you can, so that when you open your eyes, you don't disconnect from yourself, but you stay connected and bring that connection into the waking world, the awakening world.
I'd like to invite people to put into the chat box some of their experiences, some of what they've experienced during this beautiful, both the wisdom shared by Maggie and Magic and the actual meditation. And while you're thinking about it and writing it down, I want to take people to their website. And the website is sacredvoyages.com. Sacredvoyages.com. I love that picture. Just think you could be in that picture with Maggie and Magic. Um, and I know that they do retreats in Mount Shasta, Maui. Um, uh, and your next one is going to be in Maui in October, October 3 to 10. And while people are putting in the chat box any of their sharings, I'd love
Actually,
for you.
Scott, the next one is in Shasta. If you scroll
Oh,
down,
oh,
you'll
okay.
see that the next one is this July in Mount Shasta, right there.
Aha. Okay, you confused me by saying
All
our
right.
next one. Yeah. So, wow, that's coming right up. July
It is,
11th to
yeah.
the 18th. Wow. Okay. So tell our audience a little bit about if they were to come to Mount Shasta or to Maui, what might they experience?
Yeah, and first, I just want to say that I ran out of time and I wanted to take people through a deeper part of that meditation. So it was beautiful. And I just want to say that.
Yeah.
In Mount Shasta, Maggie and I, it's a shamanic awakening retreat or shamanic adventure retreat, we call it. And basically, it's a sacred site retreat. So we create a retreat where we are amplifying a field of multidimensional reality and unconditional love so that, like the meditation that we just went through, we're all living together for a week. And during that week, we go to these sacred places, these vortexes that can effectuate and catalyze sometimes instant transformation. We have had people on these retreats who have come on hospice. They have come, we had a woman with a deformed heart who had 2 open heart surgeries, was told that she had 6 months to live. She came on our retreat and went back to her doctor, and she had a perfectly healthy heart. Just a couple of years ago, Maggie and I had a client in Mount Shasta, showed up in a wheelchair, had been in bed for 3 years, came on the retreat, and was absolutely normal after that. And it's in all categories. We had a person who was in their 30s who was a virgin and had never kissed a girl and had been wanting a family his whole life. And on the retreat, he was able to shift the psyche, the things that were holding him back that weren't working, but also stepped into a different reality because it's a multi-dimensional retreat where we open up the field of possibilities and we dissolve the illusions of separate reality, that there are an infinite number of parallel universes existing at one time. Most of the time we can't access that because we're in our minds. So we drop into that place where that's possible. He had his wife, he had a girlfriend within a month and came back and got engaged on the next retreat. So it's all categories. It's wonderful and beautiful. And I also just want to mention that we are taking a group to Egypt in April.
Next April.
Yeah. Yes. April 2027. And so those are that's going to also be very special.
Mhm.
There's some lovely comments and a question. Gaia, who's also on Maui, writes, Mount Shasta is a most magical place. I've gone there to do divination on my own personal journey. Carol Craig writes, that was a lovely meditation, Magic. Thank you. Eleanor Joy writes, the pain in my arm first became sharper, but then magically disappeared towards the end. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
DR writes, I'm embracing my fear with love and tenderness, celebrating my vulnerability. And Carol wrote a long one. I'm not going to be able to read all of it, about how she's spent the last 4 years learning to love her loss. Her husband had passed, and grieving and working with grief in ways similar to what you spoke of. And then the question that I see here is from Susan Bloomquist. She's writing, regarding the practice of bringing to the surface thoughts and feelings and body sensations that are uncomfortable and learning to unconditionally love this in yourself, is this better done by oneself or in community?
That's a beautiful question. And I don't know that there's a better. I think it's both. What I've learned in my practice, because I work with clients every week on the phone, I do shamanic coaching sessions, and we're doing a lot of this in those sessions, is that there's a lot of nuances to it that I couldn't get into in this short time. But when we start to love it, a lot of things can arise, including distractions and things inside of us that have us think we're not doing it, but we are doing it. And so having someone help you along, I've personally found for myself and for my clients is invaluable. Almost all my clients get stuck in different places and they're not quite sure what to do in different parts of it. And so it's beautiful. And just like meditation, like I love to meditate alone. I also love to meditate in groups. You know, it's beautiful to meditate in groups, and there's this really awesome amplification that occurs. And, you know, when I'm working with someone, I'm actually, because I'm transmitting, I'm actually doing the work with them and for them while I'm teaching them to do it, and they're doing it themselves. So there's this amplification of it that occurs that could occur when you're doing it with others as well. And so it's both. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one more time, I'm going to go to your website, and a reminder that there's a lot of really beautiful information on this website. So I encourage everybody to go and, of course, register so that, you know, Magic and Maggie have your email address. And again, it's sacredvoyages.com, Mount Shasta, Hawaii, Sedona, Egypt coming up. You also, I know, obviously, they do wonderful individual work. If you want an astrology reading, Maggie is your gal. So I really encourage you to give yourself the gift of taking a sacred voyage with Magic and Maggie, either individually or together. And thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Scott. Can I say one more thing as we wrap up, which is that, you know, Maggie and I both, one of the ways we met was Mount Shasta, and we were drawn to each other because we both did retreats there, and we both did custom private retreats there, like the one that you and I did there. And
Right.
we love doing those retreats. So they're private and they're customized, and it feels so sweet when we do them together because it's what drew us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Oh,
Thank
love you guys so much. You are truly our inaugural couple that we love.
Thank you.
And we're going to
So
meet
much.
our second couple in a moment. But of course, it is the mid-show break, which means it's time for Omashar.
Sometimes it feels so hard to move along, saying goodbye to yesterday. Take heart, my friends, there is a new song bringing us back to our homeland. When something troubles you, just call out my name. I am the one who loves you. Be still within. Hear what I say. Give me the chance to be with you. We are one heart, one mind, one soul, working together to heal. And there are no walls between us now. It's a celebration of union. So when you're feeling down and on your own, take a look around. I am in everything. Give me your burden, walk into my arms. I will lift you up. I will hold you. We are one heart,
celebration of union. We are the ones who hear the new voice calling us home to freedom. Fear not, my friends, this is a new place full of new joys and happiness. Yes, we are one heart, one mind, one soul, working together to heal. And there are no walls between us now. It's a celebration of union. It's a celebration of union.
As always, such a perfect song. Absolutely perfect.
It's kind of interesting because I really got magic, your meditation and your presence with Maggie really drew me into a deep place. And even when we had that distraction from the unmuted folks, let's say, it didn't distract from where I was in the center. And so when I came into this song, I was still deep in the center. And I forgot half the chords I was playing. And it was okay, I'm just going to carry on and see what happens. So that's kind of in honoring and reflection and pinging that you really, what your presence shows me that you are the real deal, and just by your presence it took me there, and even the distractions on the outer could not take me out of that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautifully stated. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, Magic. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Omashar. And it is my pleasure to move us forward to our other couple. And this is Karina and Darren. And they both are extraordinary people individually. Karen is a visionary spiritual author, empowerment coach, and an ordained priestess with over 40 years of experience in astrology, tarot, archetypal psychology. She's the author of a toolkit for awakening book series, and I want to learn about that, and the creator of the Awakened Tarot cards that blend ancient wisdom with modern practices to inspire personal transformation. As the creator of the Soul Source Radiance System, she guides individuals and groups to awaken their inner radiance and manifest lives of love, abundance, and purpose. Her holistic approach integrates shamanic and quantum healing, coaching, and creative arts. She empowers others to reclaim self-worth, elevate confidence, and embrace a co-creative partnership with the universe. And I've known her for a very long time. She's awesome. And I'm so glad that she is with an amazing man, Darren Starwin, who you've seen on the show a few times. He first came to us through Soul Search, and he is a quantum catalyst and master healer who activates holistic health professionals, healers, and meditators to awaken their consciousness as avatars so that all of us can make our most valuable contributions. He and Karina are leading community gatherings on Zoom and also locally in Marin County, which is just north of San Francisco. Darren has written 5 books, including the bestseller Awakening the Avatar Within, and he's led hundreds of workshops and trainings internationally. His newest book is Avatar Master Healer, coming out this spring. He has over 30 years of clinical experience in acupuncture, Chinese medicine, energy medicine, and quantum healing. So it's interesting in reading your bios a little bit how much you both incorporate the word awakening. And of course, it's perfect then that you are one of our premier couples that we love on the Awakening World. So welcome, and I'm going to turn it over to you to share a little bit about kind of your history of coming together as a couple and what that's been like.
Would you like to have ladies first?
Okay. We met late in life, as the song he wrote about me, and we were friends first for a year and a third, and he didn't see me in that way, and he's slower than I am, but I've always wanted to co-create creative relationship. It's ever, and anybody who knows me knows that. And Darren definitely has been, sometimes I call him my pusher. He has been really inspiring me to get my books out. It's easier for me to write than to promote and to come out in the world. And I do have a series of books called The Toolkit for Awakening. 8 are finished, 11 written, and I'm publishing them now. This will be my 3rd book out. I have a tarot book. I have a book on called Awaken Female Power, which was published in 1990. And I redid that book to go with this series. And now I'm publishing Awaken Magnetic Creation. And I manifested Darren by using the process. There's a process in my book that's called a terma. And what it is you just visualize through the chi field 3 different times in the past, present, future, and you bury it in the earth. And it's a very powerful process. And I drew this man into my life.
So how long were you doing that term when you were intending that?
It took a couple months to do it. But when we met, and we met in a kind of a speed dating in 2020, and it was the woman said, say something that will blow your partner away, and he said that I was teaching light workers and inspiring them, and I was genuinely blown away. And then we met for a walk, and we just became friends. And I felt, in a sense, that he did not see me, but it was empowering for me, because what it did was show me, he's a catalyst. And the first time I met him, all my issues, he quietly pushed every button I had. And then it was like, I felt empowered that I am, I fell in love with myself and who I was, and, what I had to offer. And it was like, this man or someone better for me, God. And what did it for me was there was a certainty that I was ready, because for years I wanted a partner, but I didn't do anything about it. I had a little dog that was very comforting, and I just didn't. But I went to one thing. I never went online, really. And I went to this speed dating, and I met him, So it's been a great journey. It's been fun. And we're transforming again, because I had this vision recently. I said, you're not seeing me. You're not really bringing me into the full co-creation that I want. We do parts things together, and in the heavens recently was this Jupiter-Venus conjunction. And these are the 2 benevolents, and they're sitting on my descendant, which is the relationship part of the chart, and then I'm on the show, and our relationship is blooming into much more co-creation. I help him lead seminars, but not they're his, and I'm been like helping, but now we're co-creating more.
Beautiful. I love that. And it takes time to adapt, when somebody's used to doing their own thing, it takes time to learn how to co-create. Absolutely. It's not always automatic. It takes good communication and deep understanding. What would you like to say about that, Darren?
Well, before I say anything, I just want to say that I really loved what the previous couple were talking about. I just want to acknowledge you, Maggie and Magic, that you had just some really profound teachings and that touched me, and that just want to say I'm honored to be on the show with you. I just wanted to say that before.
And there's a similarity. I'm an astrologer and he's Jewish.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're very grateful to be here with you.
Yeah, we're blessed. Thank you. I'm enjoying listening to you. Yeah.
As far as talking about oneness, this is an example of it, because the two of you, expressed what you bring very clearly and transmitted it. And I feel like what we are bringing is a part of what you're bringing, and that the oneness is already there between us. Like, we're bringing a different aspect, a different transmission, but it's part of the oneness. So I just want to say that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I guess I want to say, as far as, our relationship, because when we were talking about what are we going to do on this show, we're talking about, let's tell our stories to some extent, and then actually manifest our co-creation, actually bring our service to you in the new, fresh, constantly renewing way that it is. So as far as my story, from a very young age, my intense spiritual path was there, probably from the day I was born. And there's two things from a very young age that I was really aware of, that I really wanted. And one of them was, I knew, without having the words for it or knowing how to say it or anything, that I had a very strong purpose that had to do with transforming the planet. I literally used to sit and daydream when I was a little boy about bringing healing energy to the planet. And believe me, no one around my family was ever talking about things like that, or my friends who I hung out with or anything. So I don't know where that came from. And then the other thing that I was really wanting was a partner, was someone like, I am heterosexual, so a woman who I could have some kind of relationship with that was different than anything I saw around me. So those are these two strong drives I had growing up. And yet I feel like there was so much resistance. There was so much like the weight of the world I felt I came in with. And that made it, I didn't just flow into those things, believe me. I feel like I had a lot of struggles and a lot of dark nights of the soul, and I studied with quite a few different spiritual teachers, had very profound paths in different parts of the world, like starting when I was a teenager, literally. But what I realized about that was that the reason it felt the weight of the world and I wasn't able to manifest those things when I was young is that I had taken on my ancestors' pain. And it was because I've come from a Jewish background. And I think I was so sensitive and open that I just, I heard my parents talk about the Holocaust and all the relatives we lost in, Europe. I feel like I just said, okay, I'll heal you, just a naive little soul. And I took a lot of that on, and it took me a long time to realize how to actually transmute it so I could just be myself and it feel, way more of that now. But fast forward to now, to keep this story very brief, is that starting really in my 30s, I started teaching workshops. And it used to be for technology. I invented some medical devices that were used by acupuncturists, and I went all over the world teaching for 25 years, and had all this teaching experience, and it gradually morphed into more spiritual workshops and retreats. But again, it was more, as Karina said, more my thing. I had many people helping me and assisting me, but it was still like I was manifesting this path that became, quite profound. And I've helped, so countless people, mostly people who are holistic healers and doctors and people who are on a spiritual path. So I still felt that feeling of I would like to have, this co-creation, just like she said. So when Karina and I met, what was different? I had been dated other women, had many other relationships, including a marriage for 10 years, was that I could sense this first day we met, this is different. And so if you felt like some resistance on my part or hesitations, because I realized this is not going to be another relationship like the other ones. This is a much deeper commitment. Like, it's going to ask much more of me. It's going to ask me to surrender some of my, boundaries or some of my things more. And so it took me a little while to enter in. You're right about that. We friends first was to an extreme degree, I guess. But eventually I saw you more and more, and we became, and so she was coming to my workshops, my retreats that I was leading, and was teaching and helping and working and holding the space beautifully, that I believe you were contributing a lot more than you think. Like, I don't think it was really so small. I think you made a big difference. And so now we've made this new commitment just really recently to enter in much more as co-creators. And I'm this, solitary man I've been with, I'm really over it to let go of it more and just feel the expansion and the depth, when the man and a woman are completely equal partners. And of course, if other people, the genders, let's say two people, I don't want to relate it only to, one gender relationship, but two people who are partners are really equal and bringing through our transmission. And so I feel excited, and it's like new things are already opening up. We've made this commitment to start offering more local events here in the Marin County area together. And we don't know how or exactly how we're going to do it, but we're going to do that. So that's, I guess I would start out with that.
Beautiful. Well, let's take a look. I'm going to pull up your websites and learn a little bit about some of your offerings. And we'll start with Karina. Here it is. And her website has a beautiful name to it, soul-source.org. Soul-source.org. And what would you like for our audience to take a look at here, Karina?
Well, I offer, like, the first page is about him being in my empowerment coaching. And then I have a book on, I have a book section. In the book, as I said, Awaken Magnetic Creation is my featured book now, because manifesting is really something that we really is our divine right. And manifestation in this principle is a learning about being magnetic. And magnetic is being positive and being receptive and allowing. And so one of the things that Darren and I have that we're bringing is that I've been working on the hero's journey for decades. This has been my path. And what it really is the goddess warrior on the hero's journey. And these are interrelated archetypes. So the goddess, the warrior, and the hero. And he was working on the avatar. So these are the principles. And goddess and warrior are in the hero's journey. And so, and basically, I really was trying to focus on the first two initiations, which are like being proactive. This is so important that we don't fight against our government or fight against, what's wrong. And this is one of my sins, is because I love to express, and, I'm just expressing. I'm not complaining, I'm explaining. So, but being proactive and focusing on what you want to become, not what you want to overcome, is really, it's our cosmic code. And the next one is being receptive, loving, and allowing. And these make us magnetic. And that's how this this manifestation process is different than just other books. But basically the law of attraction does say that, because in essence, you get what you are.
Mhm.
You live from the end to manifest. And it's really important that when you visualize through your eyes, that you're in it, not watching a movie. So manifestation is what I'm presenting now, in a sense. My focus, this, and I'm pressing the button to publish on June 21st, which is a world point. And that's Sunday but it's the solstice. And so, and then I'm getting my dream team in place to
Fantastic.
keep
Beautiful. Well, one more time, I'm going to go there now it says download the free workbook. Is that coming soon?
Yeah, that's on there. If there's a it's a
So, yeah,
it's
so
7 keys. It's 7 keys. It's an activation, 7 steps to embody your creative power. It actually enhances the book.
beautiful.
It's
So,
available now. Yes.
yeah, so it's free, everybody. So if you want to get a deeper taste of her wonderful work, go to her website, and I'll kind of go back and show you the steps again.
And there's also another book. There's also another free thing. It's 10 steps to flow and fulfillment. So that is also on there.
Okay, great. Wonderful. And all this can be found at soul-source.org.
And if it's easier to remember my name, K, the letter K, and lapuma.com, you also get there by that.
Oh, okay, great. Wonderful, wonderful. And so you can learn all about her and discover your radiant being. What a wonderful quote from our friend Jean Houston, who, of course, just passed away a couple of weeks ago. And of course, she offers in-depth sessions as well. And let's take a look at her partner. I'm pulling up his website. And now this is interesting. Do you know that this happens, Darren? Complete these verification steps.
It shouldn't be there. I don't know why that's there.
What
What URL do you have?
drstarwin.com. And I click I'm not a robot.
That's
And
a
then it
big-
pulls up these verification steps.
Not supposed to be there. I'm sorry that's there. I never saw that before.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of complicated what it wants me to do. Open terminal. Oh, sure, I might need your help here. Open terminal application on your Mac.
Oh, you should
Find the applications. You know what? I think we'll get back to this.
It's doing something weird. You could click verify, but maybe just use a different browser or something. It's just flagged you somehow.
Right. Okay. Well, Darren, maybe tell us a little bit, and I'm going to see if I use a different browser, if we have a better result. And why don't you share what you'd like our audience to know about your offerings?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Well, our offerings are very much about awakening. Really, it's about knowing that what we actually are is very different than what our mind believes that we are. And that we're in a time right now, like on our world, where everything is accelerating so much. And so the ability to awaken is right there. The ability to just express and embody our true self is right here. And I want to invite everybody who's listening to us now who wants to experience that, to take advantage of this field and just say yes. Just say yes to embodying who you really are fully. And we talked earlier about what it means to be an avatar. An avatar is you. When you take away the doubt and the identity. So a big part of my work and Karina's work is knowing that we are something other than the identity that we are believing that we are. And so the best way to experience that is experientially. And So the things that I'll say a little bit about what I offer, and then we're going to actually lead a brief experience in this. And so every Tuesday morning, we have a quantum meditation, which is online, which is open to the public. It's at 8 a.m. Pacific time. When you go to my website, drstarwin.com, I want to just put that in the chat. There's a button at the top about free meditation. If you just click on that, you can be on the list. So every Monday, you get an invitation to be on this live event with light workers from all over the world. And the vibration is very, very high. And it's just a way to, early in the week, to clear yourself out and to just have this experience of the oneness, of the stillness within. And then in addition to that, I lead workshops, and now we're going to be doing them together that are 4 to 5 months. And it's generally for people that want to embody quantum healing. And quantum healing is healing that comes from source, that it's in each one of us. Each one of us has this master healer inside of us. And yet it can seem inaccessible. It can seem, people who have a lot of difficult symptoms, it can seem like, how do you tap into that? And that's where the power of community is so absolutely valuable. So the thing I love more than anything else is bringing groups of people together in what I call the quantum field. And the quantum field is not the thoughts about it. It's not a description about it. It's not techniques. It's the field that we're in right now. And so how much time do we have left, Scott? Because we'd like to make sure we can do this experience before we...
Can you say 10 minutes? Is that about right?
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to put on a little music. And Karina, why don't you open the sacred space for...
Okay. So we both took a shaman course together, 6 months, and it was fabulous. So we always start everything with sacred space. So you put your hands to your heart, and you bring your hands up to the ninth chakra, seventh, eighth chakra. And you feel the chi between your hands. And then you just bring your hands together with your fingertips. And then you open the space, like filling yourself with a cocoon and giving some to the earth. And now we want to do it again. Bring your hands to your heart. Just open up the space. And now bring it to everyone on the call here. Bring the energy to everyone and bring it down into the earth. And it's important to remember to close it once you begin. I've already called in the directions. And so we've asked for the help of the archetypes that are in the directions. So take a deep breath and just feel the music as you slow down.
So I'd like to invite you to participate in a group quantum healing. So if there's anything that you're aware of that's a symptom for you, like a pain in your body or a feeling of fatigue or some emotional imbalance you're going through, you can just simply notice what it is. And you're welcome to put it in the chat if you'd like, because that can be fun to see what the before and after is. And also to notice on a scale of 1 to 10, say 10 being extremely bad and 1 being almost nothing, like what that symptom is. Now, if you're feeling no symptom and you're just feeling good, you could just request a blessing. You could just request to just be given more love and more energy. And so just notice what that is. Now I'm going to ask you to put the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth beyond your 2 front upper teeth, which is the master hookup. That immediately connects you with your own inner transmission. And then just relax. Just deepen the breathing in your lower abdomen. And as Magic so well said, be one with whatever your experience is. That's exactly what the work that we do is aligned with.
And just breathe deeply. And as you breathe, just feel yourself getting more relaxed as though you were sitting and melting into your chair, feeling at peace. Feel the breath coming in and out. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe in, call in the energy of the radiant energy and feel it fill your body. And then breathe it down into your torso and down into your legs and into your feet. Breathe in, gather the energy. Breathe out, fill your body with the light from the quantum field, which is everywhere. Just keep breathing in with relaxation, breathing out, softening your body, softening your mind. Let your body blend with the air around you. Feel your body filling with light and lightness, ease, healing energy.
And so within your breath, when you breathe in, silently say the word I, which is the sound of the in-breath anyway. And on the out-breath, silently say the word am, which is the sound of it anyway. And just simply let your pure awareness be on the part of your body or psyche or emotions that you identified before. Release any sense of judgment, any sense of trying to change anything. Know that we are in this quantum field that has unlimited potentiality. That's a miracle field. And all it takes is to relax and say yes. And just breathe into the part of you that could use healing. And if you just want to just luxuriate in the energy, just breathe all through you. Now realize that your physical body is a focal point of a radiant energy field that's much bigger than your physical body. If you stretched your arms all the way out to the left and right, that would be the approximate width of it. Of course, it's a cocoon all around you. So if there's anything that you have been seeking healing for quite a while, that's maybe been a little elusive, it's encoded in that energy field. So you can just simply intend, I am allowing this quantum field of love and transformation to transform that imprint in my radiant field. It's like removing a buggy program from a hard drive.
And just bring the energy of the cosmos and this radiant light that's all around you and in you and flowing to the place inside your body that needs love, needs attention. And if it's your whole body, let it be. Just feel your body. And you can bring your hands to that place. And just call in, receive the nurturing, healing energy of the universe.
Now, to complete this process, we are in quantum entanglement with all life, with the universe and however many universes there are. So just sense this field of love, of coherence that we are. Just be aware that it is touching all life. Nothing we have to do. We're joining with all the other light workers of pure heart all over this world, and the indigenous earth keepers, ascended masters, many, many beings of light who are helping our planet through this transition in this moment.
And we're sending this energy to all the screens, and even the names or the pictures, just sending them. This vibration is very strong right now
Yeah.
with us.
Thank you. Everybody here is contributing your beautiful transmission, whether you do anything or not.
So just open to receive.
And we want to say, if anyone notices anything different in the symptom that you identified earlier, we welcome you to put that in the chat, whatever has changed for you.
To me, radiance is love. It's the blessings of the goddess. It's the blessings of the cosmos. And it's within you and without you. To feel that goddess love in your body, around you, circulating, filling, nourishing, replenishing, regenerating.
And know they're already in the new earth. That the news and what's going on in the outside world is a certain reality, but it's a certain experience that's available. But the new earth is already here, and we are welcome to live in the new earth right now, and to embody that and to radiate it to others so they can realize they can live in the new earth. There's a bumper sticker from the 1960s. What if they gave a war and nobody came? And that's the quantum way.
Quantum means the past, the present, and the future are one. They're all happening simultaneous. So feel the energy of the past, present, and future all in you.
Yeah.
As we come to a close,
And close the sacred space.
I'm calling in the sacred space. So gather all the energy around you. You can do it too. And take it in and feel all your chakras with this beautiful radiant energy that we stimulated and that is in the quantum field. And now your personal one. Take it up. Feel it in you and bless yourself down each chakra. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And again, I'd love if anybody wants to put comments into the chat box, I'll read some of them. You're right. Heaven on earth is already here. And I think we can't say that enough on this show and enough in reminding people that it's choosing to see the world through the eyes of love, choosing to see the divine in all, choosing to see the divine in all beings, and even beings that are making choices that are horrific. We don't have to agree or condone the choice. We don't have to like the choices and the behaviors, but to still see the divinity of the being itself. And whatever we can do to embrace and awaken that heaven on earth is actually already here. And hopefully, as more and more of us hold that space, we just will be noticing how the world around us is moving in a particular direction. So I so appreciate the work that you're doing. Um, I've tried 3 different browsers and they're all having me do a verification code, and I tried to do the process it suggests, and it isn't easy. But you've got screen sharing privilege because I've made you co-hosts. So if you want to go to your own website and walk people through it, hopefully you won't be asked to verify your own website.
This
Okay,
is,
well, it could
Oh.
be that there's some error with my website, but I'll try to open it and see if we can open it
so
here.
this is my computer, so try.
Okay,
Here's,
And make sure you screen share.
wait, not
And
yet.
while you're doing that, I'm going to check the chat box.
okay.
So I'm going to read some chats while you do that. I'll bring myself back up. Sorry, my little spotlight isn't working. It's funny. Kelly writes, beautiful, Karina and Darren. That was very, very beautiful. And the Dora is stuck in Chicago Airport. And so she's going to start a dance party there. So I'm sure you're going to have people in Chicago dancing to your next song. Suzanne says, thank you. DR writes, so peaceful. Magic and Maggie write, that was absolutely beautiful. Um, uh, and Jerry Anderson had amazing results. So, yeah, people are really, really enjoying it very much. Christy Michaels writes, I love the reminder that of heaven and earth are here and now. Absolutely, Christy. And were you able to get into your website, Darren?
Okay, I don't think we're going to be able to show my website. There must be some issue with it right now. I'm
Oh,
sorry
okay.
about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I will send out when I send out the recording, and I'll also put the website into our. When you go to the recording, it'll have like you can read the content, and I'll highlight his. Yeah. It also appears, yeah, that you guys are freezing up. So let's all do some twinkles then. Let's send love and appreciation to Karina and Darren and Maximum Grace for their website and,
Yeah, we can use it.
and their wonderful work. And I'm going to turn it over to our beloved Diara for prayer time.
Taking this beautiful, peaceful energy, ripe with possibility, taking the magic of magic, bringing matter in with the mystical, and creating the divine human that we are. May our walk on this earth become more smooth, more peaceful, more joyous, and may obstacles melt away. And bringing that in deep inside our bodies now, continuing that process. And focusing on our beautiful hearts, our hearts that are opening, hearts that are trusting, loving, kind. And while we're feeling that, we also allow room for any beautiful grief for love lost. And embracing that, making more room for love to come in, to be found. Honoring the sanctity of these beautiful couples here tonight. Embracing the divine feminine masculine that exists in all of us. And coming together in holy union, in conscious equal partnership, in strength combined, while celebrating the individuals within each relationship. And as we breathe that in, we send that out so that others may continue to learn, to receive, to expand. And as always in our room, we create more room for us to hold it all, to experience it all. And while that beauty continues to flow in and out, we also take all of our power and our love to send to those who request, require, and are open to receive more of that now. Sending love to our beautiful Scotty Satori for healing. Sending love to Adore for a safe ride home. Sending love to those who don't show the pain, don't show the need for love, for healing. And while we're sending this out in our minds and hearts to all those that we're thinking of, again, let's just send beautiful healing light to Scotty for physical healing, for all your needs to be met. Feeling the pulse of life coming in to you now. And we can feel it coming through ourselves, receiving that beauty, divine beauty of life and love and health and healing. Just letting that power expand, 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 as if we're wiping all the tears and filling them, becoming cups of joy. And as we walk through these tender times, we know we walk together. And as we feel all the feelings, we celebrate our being human, walking this divine walk. Maximum grace, maximum joy, maximum love. And so it is.
Thank you, dear. I'm going to go to gallery view and let's just all take a minute of silence, sending extra love to Scotty and to anyone else that we want to bring into our prayer circle. Maximum grace for us all. Thank you, beautiful Global Peace Tribe. And we're going to close with our final Omushar song.
Hope springs eternal in this heart of mine, learning surrender, learning to fly, knowing you're with me, my invisible friend, loving me onwards, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. But now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. That we're divine. My heart is open, my heart is thine. I give my life to you. Your hands in this world, open and flowing, calling me out of myself. Here I go again, trusting in life. All of the tears I've cried, clearing the way. All that's been said and done is turning to dust. And now that I'm here again, I will sing praises to the maker of my life. I will sing praises to the maker of my life. One heart, one breath, one life, one life, one heart, one breath, one life, one life.
Omashar, your music is so amazing. It's just the best. Thank you so much. My heart just is like,
Thank you. I think we all bring out the best in each other, and witnessing Magic and Maggie and Karina and Darren and just the transmissions. I know it was short and it was a homeopathic dose, but we got it. We felt you. I felt you. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you, thank you. My ring light goes out like every 30 seconds, so I don't know how long it's going to last, but this is what I look like with bright light. We have something really, really wonderful happening this Saturday night. I always like to let people know what our next show is going to be, and it's going to be kind of a combination. We had scheduled it to be a soul search night, and I'm actually picking up Tangela tomorrow actually on Friday. I'm picking her up in Sedona, and we're going to drive to Albuquerque. We're going to attend the screening of Disclosure Day with Herc Talks and Alan Steinfeld and Linda Moulton Howe. So on Saturday night, it's going to be a combination of things. There goes my light. We're going to have a couple of wonderful soul search luminaries who are going to do readings for some of you in the audience. We have a numerologist and a palmist, and they will do readings, so you definitely want to be with us live. And then in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about our response to Disclosure Day, how it impacted each of us, what we think how it's going to impact the world. And it's going to be a discussion with all of you participating. So if any of you go to see the movie on Friday night, let's all talk about it on Saturday, because it really is truly one of the groundbreaking. I can't remember being so much in my community enthusiasm for an opening of a movie since probably, Star Wars, when they brought Star Wars back. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So hope to see you all on Saturday night. Also,
And I see we have Laurie Ann Speed with us.
yes, Laurie Ann Speed is going to be adding music, along with, of course, Omashar. So thank you for pointing that out. And she brings such beautiful music. So we'll have lovely music on Saturday as well. We're going to be staying at an Airbnb that Tangela booked. So hopefully they have high-speed internet. Then next Wednesday, a week from tonight, I will be at the Evolutionary Leaders Retreat with Omashar, and we will be coming to you live, brothers sitting next to each other, hopefully with good internet as well.
And Kristen
Hoffman and many other evolutionary leaders. So we've got some fun stuff coming up, everybody. Also, the new season is beginning soon, so if you haven't registered yet, just go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. I also sent out to all of you who are subscribers an email today that has kind of the details on that. And we have a wonderful summer planned. I love each and every one of you. Thank you, Magic and Maggie. Thank you very much, Darren and Karina. And thank you, beloved Omashar. And thank you, Scotty Satori. We love you so much. I'm going to bring the people that I just acknowledged up for one last time. And Diara, thank you, Diara, for your beautiful prayer and all that you do to help the awakening world. Thank you, beautiful presenters. Have a lovely evening. And remember, heaven on earth is already here. Let's just practice the new understanding of oneness that Magic helped us with tonight. And go get astrology readings from Maggie. They're fantastic.